Hey everybody, thanks for joining today. I'm going to show you a run I did down in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. New Smyrna Beach is a little bit south of Daytona. To plagiarize Google, it's a surf hub known for its beaches, including the nearby Canaveral National Seashore. I've been visiting and exploring the area, running all over the place, and I found a run that I thought would be cool to film. I start out on Flagler Avenue here in New Smyrna Beach, and I head north about 2 miles to the Smyrna Dunes and Boardwalk Park. I run around that, which is about a mile, and I head back south to the beach. The whole run's about 7.5 miles, but it'll actually be a pretty short video because I extensively use Timelapse. One thing that's pretty interesting about this run is that I did it when they had a wind advisory in place. There is nobody on the beach, and as soon as I got out there and I could feel the wind, I knew exactly why. The wind can get pretty crazy by the ocean, and in this case, I think the average wind speed was about 25 miles per hour. It was going straight south, and in the first part of the video, I am running straight north, so I have that 25 mile per hour headwind, which is making things pretty miserable for me. It's hard to tell by watching the video, but between the 25 mile per hour gusts and just the standard difficulty of pushing off the sand, the northward portion of this run was just excruciating. One other thing that was pretty disappointing is that somewhere along the line, the lens got really foggy. Turns out that when there's high winds at the beach, there's a lot of mist and water vapor flying through the air. This built up on the lens and caused some of the footage to get pretty foggy. I didn't notice this until I was up on the boardwalk, and it ruined maybe 2 or 3 minutes of footage, but I left it in just for the sake of continuity. It's pretty tough to see in this sped up video, but there's actually a whole bunch of little jellyfish that were blowing up the shore in the high winds. Normally when you're walking on the beach, you'll pass maybe 2 or 3 jellyfish, some small number, but they were getting blown up on the shore much more than usual with the wind advisory. I had to be very careful not to step on any. Here I am at the northern point of New Smyrna Beach. You can see there are just a few people brave enough to come out in these winds. This is the spot where the lens is the foggiest, and I did not yet notice, unfortunately. I will soon fix the issue when I get up on the boardwalk. After seeing the sights at the tip of New Smyrna Beach, the next stop was the boardwalk. I would go up on the boardwalk and run a lap before heading back. Boardwalk wasn't a bad run. Not too hilly, it was well maintained, nothing to trip over. Just a few people on it, which I think was the biggest obstacle, but really no big deal. There's plenty of overlooks where you can climb up and look out over the ocean, and there's also just a lot of cool views looking over the side rails. It's hard to say how crowded this boardwalk normally is. I think it was probably less crowded than normal because of the high winds, but that's tough to say. At this point, I had made it around the boardwalk and climbed up on this last overlook to get some shots before heading back down to the beach. I knew that I was going to be doing a 30x time lapse on the way back, so at this point I was thinking about the best way to do it. The fun part about doing these time lapses is that you have to run totally straight, and you have to keep the camera pointed totally straight, or else it ruins the footage. If you're doing a lower speed time lapse, it's less important to keep the camera straight. But if you're doing a 15x or a 30x, you really notice whenever the camera tilts. Towards the end of this time lapse, I was able to find a lifeguard station that really stuck out that I fixated on. I just ran straight towards that, and I made a very deliberate effort to make sure the camera was pointed forwards the entire time. So it worked out pretty well. There was one thing that made the return trip much more enjoyable than the trip out, and that's the fact that I had the 25-mile-per-hour winds at my back. Normally, beach runs are pretty slow for me. Maybe I'll keep a 10-minute or 10-minute 30-second pace. The way back was an 8-minute or 8 30-second pace, so significant improvement. Okay, and here I am back at Flagler Avenue, so my run is done. About 7.5 miles. Calf muscles were just totally shot, as they are with any beach run, being from the Midwest. Not used to pushing off the sand and not used to the wind. But overall, it was a pretty good run. It was cool to go up the beach without seeing a ton of people, even if it made the footage just a little more boring. But overall, glad I got to explore the area. The boardwalk was pretty cool, beach was pretty cool. Glad I got to film this interesting day at the beach. I also got out and filmed the day before. Most of the footage isn't very good, so I'm not going to make a video of that day, but I will include some of the footage here so that you can see, for comparison's sake, what the beach looks like with people on it. Okay, everybody, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.